Let's talk about some of the legal issues, including the breaking news off the top. Lisa Cook staying on as her position at the Board of Governors for the Fed. Pleased to bring in Judge Andrew Napolitano, our senior judicial analyst. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Bianca.
Judge, I'm going to start with a reaction to Sarah's story. Does the government have the authority to restrict foreign nationals based on political speech here in the United States?
Well, no, it doesn't. The court in Boston ruled yesterday in a 161-page opinion, very long and extremely thorough for a trial court, that the First Amendment protects everyone. Now, if they're engaged in illegal activity, if they're assaulting people as they're going into a synagogue, as Sarah reported, if they're preventing students from going to class, that's not free speech, and that's actionable, meaning they can be prosecuted for that. But if it's just speech, the standard has to be the same, according to this ruling, and quite frankly, the ruling is consistent with American law, for everyone. The First Amendment protects the free speech of everybody in the United States, Americans, foreigners here on visas, even people that are here illegally.
But when you cross that
line,
as you said, blocking access, it becomes a whole other ball of wax there. All right,
Absolutely.
Let's turn to the Supreme Court. Lisa Cook, who has been embattled since the allegations of mortgage fraud have surfaced. DOJ has opened a criminal complaint, very serious allegations. But now today, the Supreme Court says that they will allow her to remain. They will have oral arguments heard January 2026. She's hired very prominent, very somewhat anti-Trump attorney Abby Lowell, who now is representing other people like Letitia James as well. So Cook stays on. Your reaction to that, but also isn't it pertinent now that in December, the Supreme Court also will rule whether President Trump has the authority to actually fire people on these independent boards like the Fed governor. So maybe they're trying to decide that first in tandem and let this play out as they get more information. What's your thoughts?
So President Trump has won every emergency application that the Justice Department has made with respect to his ability to fire people in the executive branch, except for this one. And one of the ones that in which he prevailed involved a commissioner on the Federal Trade Commission. And the Supreme Court had some language in there which is very instructive for what they did today. The language said, we all know that these people work in the executive branch, and the president should be able to have, as the head of the executive branch, people that work for him in whom he has trust, except for the Federal Reserve, which is quasi-independent. Now, that was said 2 months ago in an unrelated opinion in which the Federal Reserve was not a party. Now we come up to today, and we have a unanimous Supreme Court saying we're going to let Mrs. Cook keep her job until we hear oral argument in January and rule in April. Translation, the Chief Justice counted noses, and they're probably going to rule that the Fed is beyond the president's reach when it comes to firing.
Interesting. All right, Judge, thanks for that. And also a bit of breaking news that the president shared yesterday. He says they're close to finalizing this deal with Harvard, which would restore $2.4 billion in federal grants after they allegedly failed to rein in all the anti-Semitism during the unrest, the Israel protests. He says they now just have to paper that, and also Harvard to pay $500 million to a trade school. I mean, this seems like a compromise, maybe not one the administration really wanted, but yet they are making it.
I mean, the idea of Harvard University running a trade school is really a head-scratcher. I think the lesson here is it's better to negotiate with the government than resist it. However, Harvard still gets $1.9 billion of the $2.4 billion it was expecting. So it's still a significant win for Harvard. The government saved about 17 or 18 cents on the dollar, if you want to look at it economically. But Harvard still walks away with the lion's share of the cash.
Judge Knapp, good to have you with us today.
Pleasure, Bianca.
People think news just happens. It doesn't. It happens because there's someone there to capture the moment, to explain it and share it. That's my job. I go where news breaks and give you the facts. Join me for The Record on Newsmax.